Well, welcome. Come on in. We're going to need another chair. All right. Boy, it's good to see some of you. It's been a while. Nice to be back. We're going to have a little seminar about how to organize your pictures in your files. So if that wasn't the one you came here for, you can leave now, I guess. So I usually start this off by, we talk about your files, on your computer. What are your files? What are they? What's a file? Well, a Word document's a file. We're gonna focus more on pictures in this class because it's what most people are more interested in. But all of the stuff that you're going to see for selecting different files, selecting more than one file and deleting them, it would work for Word documents or anything. So we're going to focus on pictures, but the techniques are all the same for any kind of file. Okay? So Word documents are files. Pictures are files. PowerPoint. This PowerPoint right here is a file. So it gets messy after years and years on a computer. How many bazillions of files do you have, and where are they? Wow. How many are running Windows XP, the older version of Windows? Anybody left? Okay, one or two. Okay. Yeah, we're going to fix that. Okay, well, the class is no longer based on Windows XP. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks for finding stuff and how to search real easy for different files, and we're going to go over on how to rename things. Like, when you take a picture with a camera, who's got a camera anymore, really? I mean, really? I still do, because it's better than a phone. But everybody uses their phone. And I see this all the time. People will take, a bazillion pictures with their cameras or their phones, and they never transfer them. And, well, it's stored in the cloud. Is it? What if you lost your phone? What if your camera broke and all your stuff was on the chip in your camera? How'd you get it out of there? I mean, those are the things that when I teach the classes about pictures and stuff, I tell everybody, this thing when I got here today was empty. This camera was empty. I went out in the parking lot, took a couple of pictures for the class. So that's how it should be all the time. Hang on just a sec. We're going to get a couple of chairs. And there's some stuff at the end that I can show you. I'm not sure if you'll all be sleeping by then, but if you aren't, how many of you have like 100 pictures from one of your vacations that you'd like to do something with in like 5 seconds? Lots of hands, lots of hands. So if I went out right now and I took 50 pictures out there, some really cool pictures, I'm going to go through the class and we're going to see how to manage those pictures. But at the end, what if I could show you how to make a really cool video thing? You see those on YouTube. People got a bunch of pictures of their vacation and you can hit play and you can listen to music and see their vacation, and it's pretty cool. What if I told you guys could all do that right now? It's built into your computer, and I could teach you how to do it in minutes. We actually have a class on it next month. So if you're interested, we're going to spend a whole hour next month teaching you how to do it. But if you're interested, we can kind of run through it, and I can show you the overview. It's not hard. Hey, I learned it, right? So, there it is. And I can teach you guys how to do that. So you could have all your pictures of a vacation and make them into I call them a photo tour. It's really a neat little trick. Where do we get our files? Well, you get them from these things, right? Scanners. Who's got a scanner? I still do, Connor. Yeah. I have old pictures and things that I've tossed in the scanner, and they're 60, 70 years old, but they're on the computer now. So those are different ways that we get them. Anybody go to YouTube or anything and have you ever right-clicked on a picture and downloaded it? So you went and took it off the internet and put it on your computer? Yeah, I do that a lot for presentations and things. I don't worry about plagiarism. I don't really care. So I'm not making any money on any of this, so there it is. And then, again, Word and Excel make documents, and those are also files. So, thanks for helping us out, Jane. Nobody had a crowbar, Jane, so I asked, but
I don't know.
Yeah. So every PC, anybody remember Windows 95 and Windows 98 from 100 years ago? Yep. Since then, they've all had a file structure where it was all your stuff went into My Documents, and then it went into My Pictures, and then it went into My Scans. It was all under My Documents. Pretty much everybody except for one or two were on Windows 7 or 8 or 10 right now, I think is what we've got there. And that, they don't use the My Documents anymore. They just call it Documents. And then it's Pictures and Videos. So it's a little different structure. So when you're looking at my computer, when we get into it, you'll see it's Windows 7 based. So, okay. So if I took a bunch of pictures on this camera and I transferred them into the computers, anybody got one of these little card reader things? Like the chip in this camera doesn't fit in my computer, but I can stick it in this thing and it plugs into my computer. You ever seen one of these? You want me to pass this around? It's kind of handy.
What's it called?
It's a card reader. Yep. And well, it's got a USB cable, but you guys know what a USB plug is? It's got that little rectangle thing. Yeah. Okay. I'll leave the cable up here, but you can see on this thing, there's like, I don't know, 15 slots on it. So it's, my computer has the ability to plug one or two chips into it, but not all of them. So this thing right here, you could pretty much, any chip in the world will plug into it. They're like 20 bucks.
What did the big long ones take?
That's a really good question. Yes, as you see this thing, you'll see one of them is great big. It's like from like the last ice age, you know, my era, right? The cameras used to come with a thing called compact flash, and it was about 1.5 inches by 1 inch. That's what that's for. You won't see that anymore except on really high level cameras. You won't see it. So, but most cameras have a little S disc or a micro SD is real common. It would just pop into that little reader, and then you'd plug it into USB on your computer, and then you could get your files off it. Okay. All right. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. You? All right. That's okay. All right. So, yeah. Well, there's food next door, and we're like, what are we doing over here? You know? Yeah. So, I'm gonna. Yeah.
Are you gonna give us any handouts of any of this stuff, or you have to sit here and write it?
You don't have to write any of this, Thelma. All of this is available right on our Emily website, and I'll show you that at the end. You can download this PowerPoint, and you can, hopefully, if the video works, you'll be able to. My computer's recording everything you see up there and what I say, so you should be able to watch this again. So yeah, that's a good question. Okay. So, if anybody makes really good notes, I'd like to have a copy when you're done. Okay. So for the next class. Okay. So I took some pictures, and when you take pictures and you use your camera, who came up with the names for the pictures? Like, can you guys read what this thing says up here? You see back there? That says DSC_0010.jpg. And then the next one is a 20 and a 40. So these are a vacation, but when they come out of your camera, you know, your camera doesn't know that it's your Alaska vacation. It doesn't know. It just puts a number on that picture up there. Okay? So if I had 400 pictures, there'd be 400 pictures in there, all of them with some goofy gibberish name and then a number on it. Are you familiar with that? Okay, has everybody done it? Have you done a lot of this? Would you like to go through transferring a picture from a camera? Does anybody would like to see that? Yeah? Okay, all right. So, I'm going to have to steal that.
How about an iPad? They don't have a chip.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
I haven't been able to get mine off my iPad.
Yep.
On the phones.
Yep, and the phones. Okay, so what do you do if you got an iPad? There is no USB port. There is no chip on an iPad. I don't know why they did that. It's a great device, but it's like, who was? And it's like they just refuse to do it, even after all these years. They just won't do it. There's a lot of ways to get your stuff off of it. The easiest way to do it is on my computer here, okay? And then my iPhone, I would install an app. It's called Dropbox. The iCloud would work also. If you're very good with the iCloud, you can use that too. But if you put Dropbox on your phone or your tablet, okay? And then you put Dropbox on your computer, okay? Then they have a little shared area in Dropbox. So on your phone or your tablet, you would pick those pictures. And you know in the lower left, there's that little kind of arrow looking thing where you can send it to somebody.
Are you familiar with that? You can click a picture and send it. Well, one of the options is text, one is email, and one is this and one is that. Once you put Dropbox on there, one of those options will be send it to Dropbox. So let's say you had 10 pictures. If you select them and you hit that little button and you say Dropbox, it will take those pictures and push them up into the sky, into the cloud. That one, that cloud right there. It'll put them up into the cloud at Dropbox, okay? So then when you walk over and sit down at your computer will be busily grabbing them from Dropbox and bringing them down to your computer. And then Dropbox has a little icon. When it's all done, you get a little green check or something. So
And you don't have to download the Dropbox for your computer also.
you need to install it on your computer. Yep.
It's okay.
So if you have a Mac or a PC, it doesn't make any difference. You just go to Dropbox.com on your computer, whether it's a Mac or a PC, and then you can install it. And then it's on there. Then on your phone or your tablet, you also got to go to the App Store or Google Play and just look up Dropbox. So then it's on both your things. So then from your phone or tablet, you push it up to Dropbox, and then when you get on your computer, it'll go pull them down. And once you got them on your computer, you can then delete them from your photo library. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to make something real clear. If you make a mistake, because I've done it, okay? Dropbox is really awesome. You can send, several hundred pictures to Dropbox and then get them on your computer. But once you get them on your computer, they'll be in the Dropbox folder. You need to move them to your pictures folder. That's really, really important because there's a difference. Because if you leave them in the Dropbox folder and you delete them off of your phone, from the Dropbox folder, they will delete off your computer as well. Does that make sense? So Dropbox is just what it says. It's a shared hard drive in the sky. Shouldn't happen, but once you get them on the computer, use the techniques we're just about to go through, select them all and move them to a folder in your pictures, okay? Everybody catch that? All right, who's got that little chip reader thingy? I'm gonna steal that back from them. Well, if I'm stealing from a steel, is that still a steel?
So how does it plug in? Do you have a port?
Yeah, that's a good question. This thing has a little USB plug on it, so you hook this thing up to it, and then you plug it into the computer with that, okay? So, any other questions on Dropbox? There's a whole class on Dropbox, so.
When you put them in the Dropbox, does it automatically go into one file?
It goes into a folder.
A folder?
When you on your phone or your tablet say send them to Dropbox, it'll just send them to your Dropbox folder, probably under pictures under the Dropbox. So when you go to your computer, you go to the Dropbox folder, there'll be a pictures folder, and that's where they'll all be. But you want to take them out of the Dropbox area and put them into the actual pictures area.
Okay, but when you, like, let's say I put some in today, and then I put some in a week later, are they all going to be in the same place, or will they be in different?
Good question, and the answer is maybe. Because in Dropbox you can make your own folders. So you could make folders, that's what I do. I make a folder with today's date on it, next week's date, and that's where I put those pictures, is in those folders. So if you wanted to keep them all in one folder, they would be in one place. Make sense? But you don't have to. Okay. Oh, you should have wrote it down.
I just want to be clear on my phone where I've got pictures.
Yep.
There's no USB port. You've got to use the Dropbox.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. There's lots of ways to do it, but for me to stand up here and tell you there's so many ways, well, that wouldn't be any good. Dropbox will work for you. It will work. You get 2 gig of free storage. That's enough for 50 or 100 pictures at a time, and if you got that many pictures on your phone, we should probably talk anyway.
Okay, and then I go on my phone. I go to the App Store and download Dropbox on my phone.
Yep.
And on my computer, I go to Dropbox.com.
Yep.
And download it.
Yep. And then once you get it, it's going to ask you. I do it on the computer first. It's quicker and easier. When you go to Dropbox and you download it onto your computer, you get it running, it's going to ask you to create an account. It's just easier to do that stuff on a computer because you got the full keyboard. Then you just type in your email address and make up a password. Then on your phone, you wouldn't create an account, you would just use that same account. Does that make sense? Okay? So this thing, did I just hear somebody say I don't understand? Did I just hear those words? Because if you don't, raise your hand or something. Okay, this little camera, it's got a little chip in it, okay? Everybody got a camera, got a chip? I also have a cable for this camera. I could plug this cable into my computer, but this is just way faster, way faster.
Same one.
This thing will work. Great camera,
Oh,
isn't
I
it?
love it.
It's dynamite. So, how's it work? Well, I got folders here on my computer. If you guys look up at the screen over there, I've got a pictures folder. It's got some stuff in it, okay? But today is May 9th, right? Somebody, yeah, May 9th, right? It's probably on the screen. Yeah, May 9th. Good, good. I'm in the right class. So if I had 100 pictures on my phone from today, okay, I shouldn't just throw them into the pictures folder, okay? I should throw them into a new folder with today's date on it. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to click on this one picture here. Anybody want to see my cat? There, that's her. Yeah. That's Liara. She's pretty cool. So I got pictures in this folder, but the ones from the camera today, they don't really belong with them. They should be in their own folder. Does that make sense? All right. So if you're running Windows 8, Windows 10, and you open up, you can hit the little button down here, and you can go to your pictures folder. Is everyone familiar with how to do that on your computer? Yes? No? Anybody not familiar with that? Okay. So if I go to pictures, it opens up pictures as a folder. It's the same thing on a Mac. Anybody here got a Mac? Okay, it's the same thing on your Mac. You go up to the Finder and go to pictures. Same thing. There's a couple ways to make a folder here. If you can read the screen up on top, it says new folder. So we can do that. I'm going to click that button, but you may not see that. If you're running Windows 7, that won't be up there. Okay? So you can do that. But you see this white space over here, this kind of empty area where my mouse pointer is? Everybody's got two buttons on their mouse if you're using a PC, not on a Mac, sorry. But if I right click, I didn't click there, I right clicked and a little window comes up. Can you guys see that over there? All right. One of those says new, and then if I go to the one that says folder, okay, this will work on there, okay? I think on your Apple you just go up to the thing and you just say new, create folder, I think on your Mac. It's the same idea. So we're going to do it both ways. I'm going to do it again. So if I sit in here, I just turned on my computer and I got a bunch of pictures ready to copy, I wouldn't just copy them. I would go to my pictures folder and then I would maybe click this button if I see it because it's easy, new folder. This is kind of important. Everybody has a different way of organizing stuff and you look like you got a question.
Well, that's what I did, but I must have missed a step because I went to Peru and I put Peru on the folder.
Yeah.
I had all these pictures on there.
Yeah.
And I clicked the first one and the last one. I highlighted them.
Yeah.
Then I didn't know how to put them in the folder.
Well, we're going to go through in a page or two. We're going to show you how to do that. That's awesome. So you don't have to do this. If you only got a few pictures, would you really want to make a folder for every picture? Not really. But when you go on vacation, there's usually, 4 million pictures coming back, and it's nice to just toss them all in the one folder. Like we go by date. So on Monday we would do what I'm going to do here, and then Tuesday we'd make another folder. So today's date is May 9th, 2017. So if I called this folder 2017-0509, that's the name of that folder. That's the year, the month, and the date. The reason I suggest that is because then on any computer anywhere that you bring it to, it's alphabetized. So when you look in that folder, they'll go from newest to oldest or oldest to new. They'll be in a sequence. Does that make sense? But if I just said Peru vacation, my Belize vacation, well, there's nothing in there that says what it is. Does that make sense? So let's make a new folder with the other way. In this white area here, I'm going to right click on the keyboard. I'm going to float on new, and then I'm going to left click on folder. So then I'm going to do the same thing, 2017-0509, and then I'm going to do a space,
and this is a seminar. So then I've got my code in there and then what it is. So this could be 2007-0509 Belize. Does that make sense? Maybe you want to put them all in one folder. So let's go crazy and make one more folder. I'm going to click up top on new folder, 2017 space Belize. Does that make sense? But if you put the date in some format on that folder, it's going to help you down the line. It'll really help you guys organize. Okay? All right. Plus, it's all about me, and that's how I do it. So, you know. So now we're going to get into one of the things that you're going to use. So I've made these 3 folders, right? Well, I don't want them anymore. Okay? If I click on the first one, you see how it got highlighted? Well, I could go up here to delete, couldn't I? You see that little red X up there? Most computers, Windows 7 has that red X up there. Okay? I could delete it. I could also click on a folder and then on my keyboard I could press delete. But then if I had 20 of them, I got to do that 20 times. That seems kind of weird, doesn't it? If I click on this first folder, on your keyboard in the lower left, there's a key called Control. It's CTRL. It's called Control. If you hold Control and you click another one, can you see that they're both blue? I'm going to do this. See, they're all 3 blue. I could also pick this one picture of my cat up here. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things highlighted. See how that worked? That's the Control key. That's typically called control clicking. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So I could hit delete on my keyboard, and they're gone.
Wouldn't Shift do that also?
This is a good question. That's the next step. He said, wouldn't Shift do that also? And the answer is yes. Okay. All in a row. Yes.
Will that work for emails also?
Yes, it does, in fact. Control click works for just about anything. Shift click works. So if you got email and you use, anybody use Outlook Express anymore from XP days, or does everybody use Windows Live Mail? No? Okay. Outlook is perfect. If you're just using Gmail, where you go to their website, you go to gmail.com, the control click thingy probably won't work for you. But if you're using a program like Outlook or Outlook Express or Windows Mail, then you can usually click on one mail, hold control, click another, hold control, click another, and delete them all at one time. It's a real nice trick. But to answer your question, what if I wanted to pick a bunch in a row? I could go click. I could hold control and go click, click. You see how I'm doing that? What if there's 100 of them? Man, that's a lot of clicking, isn't it? All right. If I wanted to take all of the pictures that you see right here, if I click on the first picture, okay, and then not control, but if I hold the shift key, so on my keyboard right now you can't see it, but I'm holding the shift key. And if I click the last one, do you see it picked them all in between? That's a real neat trick, okay? Works for Word documents, emails, everything. There's another magic one. Be careful with this one. If you hold Control and press the letter A is for all, and Apple too, but in this case all. Control A selects everything in that folder. Okay? Does that make sense? So then you could delete it, or we'll get to moving it in just a moment. Okay? All right. So let's do that again. I want to use the shift click method to delete all of these pictures. So I will click on the first picture, and I will hold shift and then click on the last picture, and then I'm going to click the red X up here and say delete. Pictures are gone. Now I'm going to use the control click method to get rid of all of the folders in here. So I'm going to click on the first one, I'm going to control click that one, and I'm going to say delete on my keyboard. It's the same thing as the red X. Those two are gone. Okay? Now if I did this one and this one, they're now gone. My pictures are gone. Okay. So let's start from the top. Let's create a folder. Let's see if I can get this little stick to work. And then we will select all the pictures, and then we will not copy them. We will move them. There's a reason for that, okay? That's how I do it. Because on my camera, there's never anything. I can't back up that camera. Can't do it. But I can back up this computer. So there should never be anything on the camera that has not been moved to the computer. So basically, whenever I turn this on, it's empty. Because they're all on my computer, and then they're getting backed up to one of my little hard drives, okay? Because I'd hate to have that thing get broken or this get lost, and now I lost everything, okay? Anybody do that? There's a lot of folks that do leave a lot of stuff on a camera. Do you do that, a lot of you? It's something to consider not doing, or to maybe move to doing this, so at least you have some protection on it.
I can't show you my pictures on my computer because I don't have it, but I have my phone.
Well, there you go. And then for sure your phone should at least be backed up. At least be backed up somewheres.
When you transfer everything from your phone to your computer, is it gone then?
The question is, when I transfer everything from my phone, or in this case my camera, to my computer, is it gone? In my case, it is gone from my camera. Because when I'm out in the field, first off, I don't want the chip to be full. You know, I go to take a picture and I can't because I don't have any space left. But I make a point of moving it here because it's just a habit to get into. If you don't do that, it gets daunting. Because now you've got 4 million pictures on your phone or on your camera, and it's actually a really big job to do that, okay? All right. I may need somebody with good eyes here because I didn't bring my glasses. So, isn't that sad? I've been doing this for 15 years and I've never needed glasses, and now, well, there it is. My wife just says I'm ancient. I don't know. So what I did is I put the chip in what I think is the correct slot, okay? I got a 1 in 6 chance, I think. So, and then I plugged this little cable into my computer, and did you guys hear it ding? You know, computer makes a sound when something goes into it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take these pictures here. I have some other things on it, I'm sorry. So it came up, I've got a little storage drive. You guys might have a G drive. When you plug it in on your Mac, it'll just actually say what the name of the device is. You know, it'll be a USB stick or something. So when you plug this chip into your computer, you'll have a F drive, a G drive, or some other letter. Does that make sense? It might even pop up a little window that says, hey, I found this new thing, what do you want to do? And you would just want to open it, and then you'd be able to get to it. So if I went to my pictures folder, let me unplug this so we can let's start just from scratch. I'm in my pictures folder, which you can hit this button here and go to pictures. Is everybody familiar with that right there? Is anybody not familiar with that? Okay. So if I open up my pictures folder, remember we deleted them all before. So I want to make a new folder. So if I hit this button, or if I right click in the white space and I say new folder, I'm going to give it today's date. So it says 2017-0529 seminar. Okay? All right. So now we're going to go back to those pictures. And here is the first picture. Somebody tell me how to select all the pictures in a row. Very good. Very good. You would shift click the last one. So you click on the first one. I'm going to hold shift and click the last one. See how I've got them there? Okay. Now there's a button up top. Can you guys see? I don't know if you can read that or not. Up top here, there's a copy to and a move to. Okay. There's a difference between move and copy. Copy will take the pictures and put them in your pictures folder, but it will leave them alone where they started. It won't do anything to them, just like it says. Move will do exactly what it says. It'll take those pictures, put them in this folder, and then delete them from the chip. Okay? Question?
Delete them from the chip.
Yeah, on this little chip here.
Oh, maybe that's what it did.
Yeah.
I thought I lost my pictures.
And, well, let's hope not.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So that's the difference between copy and move, and my rule is I move them. There should never be anything on my camera. Now that may not be right for everybody, or like if you said you only ever have your phone with you, so maybe that's not the answer. But what I do, I take them all off of my phone, and I put the few that I really want back on my phone. I don't carry 1,000 pictures on my phone. I just get rid of them off my phone, and because really, I don't have many friends anyways, and they never want to sit there and look at 400 pictures. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, I carry all these around for what reason? You know? So I would keep a Machu Picchu picture around. I would do that. But so if I had on my phone 1,000 pictures, I'd get rid of them. They'd be on my computers. And I may keep a few of them on my phone just for fun.
So Paul, how do you, if you move them all to the computer,
Uh-huh.
and you say, oh gee, you know, there's nothing to do with my cat back on my phone, how do you move them back to the phone?
Great question.
I was wondering, I've been using Picasa,
Uh-huh.
so now I have got hundreds of pictures
Mhm.
that are, some in Picasa, some in my pictures. I mean, it is a disaster.
It's a mess. Yeah.
I don't even know where to start.
Okay.
So how, should a person be doing that? Having like,
These are two really good questions.
because you can, if you want to edit them, you can edit them much better in Picasa.
No.
Really, mine, I feel you can.
Yes, Picasa's awesome, but there's a trade-off to that. So let me answer both of these questions, and then we'll get back to moving and copying, okay? All right, so your question. It depends on your phone, okay? My phone is a Samsung, so it's Android. I have a USB. I can just plug mine into the computer. I can move all my pictures off, and then if I want 20 of them on there, I just copy them back, copy whatever I want back on. Depending on your phone, if you've got an Apple, you may have to take them off of there and put the few you want back into Dropbox, and then they're back on your phone. Does that make sense? Dropbox is a really good tool for an Apple product. Or if you got all Apples, Apple phones, Apple computers, Apple tablets, the iCloud works really good for that. That way you don't have to have them all on your phone. You can if you want, but I guess that's a choice as far as that goes. Does that answer your question? It depends on the phone, because mine is not like an Apple. It works completely different.
Mine's an Android also.
Okay, then you should have a USB plug on yours that you can plug into the USB. You can take all your pictures at one time, move them, throw them on the computer. Same thing the other way. You can use your newfound control click method to select the ones you want and copy them back. I can show you that a little later after the class if you want to. Back to your question about Picasa. Does anybody not know what Picasa is? Okay. You was an artist way back a long time ago. You know, you do these funny drawings. Yeah, I never thought it was art myself. Really, I didn't. You know, I don't know. No, Picasa, not Picasso. Picasa is a Google program. It's an image editing program that you can take, kind of do what we're doing here, but instead of putting it into your pictures folder, you upload it into the Picasa cloud. Now that's great. That's great. But I don't ever like to put all my eggs in one basket, because what if they decided to quit doing that service, which they've done on many of their services? What do? They're probably not going to with Picasa. But her question is, you know, I got a lot of pictures that are on my computer and a lot of pictures that are on Picasa. And you know, it gets to be a mess. It gets to be a mess. I apply the same thing. I don't put anything in Picasa that is not already on my computer. And what I want in Picasa, I put there, but I already know they're on my computer. But with these techniques you're going to see, organizing them becomes a lot easier.
Okay, what I've done,
Yep.
like when it's in Picasa,
Uh-huh.
I will go up to the top and I will click to move them
Yep.
to my pictures.
Perfect.
Because if you go to put a picture, for instance,
Yep.
on Facebook, you have to go to My Pictures in order to download.
Yep.
But I don't like the way my pictures is as far as editing.
Okay, there's a whole class on that too, but she brings up a really good point. Has anybody heard of Facebook? I still don't use it. Isn't that sad? I mean, like I said, you gotta have friends for that. What's that for, right? Come on. Does anybody besides me not use Facebook? Sweet. Facebook has its uses. It's got a lot of fun stuff, but I think it's overused. I think it's abused many times. It's just awful. Just because you get a Facebook post doesn't mean you should stop looking in the person's eyes that you're talking to, right? To look, oh wait, hang on, this is more important, right? Yeah, or the kids posting around the table. You're 2 feet away from each other. Just talk to the person. He's right there. It's funny, isn't it? But what she's saying is if you went to Facebook and you wanted to put a picture on there, Facebook doesn't say, well, let's go to your Picasa library. It doesn't do that. Facebook is looking for that picture on your computer. So you would go to your pictures folder and grab the picture. And what she's doing is she's using Picasa. Picasa isn't just a place to store your pictures. You can modify them and brighten them up, trim them out. There's a lot of cool things you can do on Picasa. But then you need to take them from Picasa and put them on your computer if you want to use them anywhere else. And personally, I keep them on my computer anyways, just because.
I was gonna say, I use Picasa, and I only put pictures in there that I do want to edit.
There. That's a really good point. Everything in moderation. It's like Facebook. I don't use it and I joke about it, but Facebook is fine if you just use it for what it was meant to do. But Facebook is not the internet. Just in case anyone doesn't know that, it's not the internet. So, but it's the same thing with Picasa. It's a great tool if you use it for what you're trying to. But I don't like to put all my stuff out there. Don't like to. Okay. Yeah.
Well, on my computer, I put my pictures in there. When I go through picture snap, this picture and that picture. Well, right on my computer, it says, I have all kinds of things. I can edit.
Yep.
If I say edit, and I can go do all these things on the side. I don't have to have another program.
And depending on your computer, you may not all have that same software. And like when I bought my newest printer, it came with this software package that I was like, whatever, never looked at it. Turns out it's one of the best little photo editors I've ever used. So if I didn't have that printer, I wouldn't have that little program, and it's not as cool to. It really works nice for brightening up pictures. Or you get that red eye where you've been Satan all day, and your eyes are glowing red. You can just hit this thing and it's just gone. It's like magic. So those are tools that may or may not be on your computer. They are on Picasa. So, but every picture doesn't have red eyes. So thanks for bringing that up. Okay, does anybody remember where we were? I think we were up here and going to move our coffee, weren't we? Okay, so what we're going to do, we got our pictures, and there could be, well, I don't know, the last picture, we take several hundred a day. I never look at them on the camera. I don't care. When we get back to our hotel, we do this. We plug into the computer. We just move everything to the computer. Bring it all to the laptop. It's so much easier to look at it on a laptop over coffee and say delete, delete, delete. It's just a bigger screen. It's just way easier. So instead of looking through this little guy's screen, figuring out 400 pictures, which takes forever, move them to the computer and work on them there. Okay? You don't have to, but that's my suggestion. Okay. So let's start over, and I'm going to take the pictures. Again, I have a couple other things on this chip for the class, but just ignore them if you will. We'll just look at the ones that say JPEG on them. You see the JPG? Everybody know that's a picture, okay? All right, so I'm going to click the first one, and then I'm going to shift-click the last one. That has selected them all, okay? You want to see a really advanced trick, or are we not interested? Yeah? All right. So I'm working with a really small list here, right? There's only a few pictures, but when you're working on stuff, you may have more than 9. I think that's 9. What if I clicked this one, and then I shift-click this one? So now it's selected all the ones in between, not all, but all the ones in between where I clicked and where I shift-clicked it. Okay, so let's do it again. So I click the first one, and I hold shift and I click this one. So you see everything in between just got selected. So if that was 100 of them, they would now be selected. And now if I hold control and I click this one, and I click that one, I have used a combination of shift click and control click. Okay, here's another one. I'm going to click this one, and I'm going to shift click this one. See how they're all selected? I'm going to control click this one, and then I'm going to hold control and shift and click the last one. Does that make sense?
It was control click and then control
Shift click.
shift.
Yep. So what I'm doing is I'm using my tricks and techniques to select multiple ones in a big long list. It's not very helpful here. There's only 9 of them, but if there were 900 of them, this technique would be very handy. Okay? So the first thing that I would do is I would click, I would shift click, and then I would say move. You see that up there? Can everybody read that little icon?
Is the move on 7?
The move is on 7, but you don't see it in, they call that the ribbon. Because
Right click again.
if you right click on them, you can cut and paste, which is what move is. Move is going to cut them out of here, and it's going to paste them somewhere else. But in Windows 7, if you went up top, there's a little bar going across the top that says File, Edit, View, and a lot of times in that Edit menu, there's one in there that says Copy, and there's one in there that says Move. So you may find it up there, okay? But we're going to do both techniques, because some people have Windows, a lot of people have Windows 10 now. A lot of people, yeah. Windows 10 is going to have that little ribbon thingy up top, okay? So let's just start over. I'm going to click the first one. You guys are going to learn that by the end of the day, man, I'll tell you. I'm going to shift click the last one. And I'm going to say move to. So if you see the move to, wonderful. It's fantastic. Well, I got a whole bunch of different things here, but way at the bottom it says choose location. I don't know if you guys can read that way down on the bottom. It says choose location. So I'm going to hit that, and somewhere it brings up this little screen. Can you guys see that? See if I hit that arrow, it kind of moves everything around. If I go to my pictures folder, and you see that little arrow to the left of it? If I hit that, it expands it and shows me all the folders I have created, which today is only one. If I click on that folder, you see how it's highlighted? Okay. And I say move, they are gone from the chip. Done. There are 2 things left, but like I said, it's just for me. Okay, so under my pictures folder, I have our seminar folder, and look, all those pictures are there now on the computer. Okay? But they still have a funny name, don't they? Don't they? What if I wanted to rename 500 pictures? Holy buckets, that's going to take a while, right? Nope. I'm going to rename 9 of them, and if it was 9 or 900, it's exactly the same thing. Somebody tell me how to select all these pictures. Click the first one, and then, okay. So I click the first one, and I shift click the last one. Or, if I just do Control A, I have selected them all. Okay. Either way, I have now selected all my pictures, right? If I go to the very first one, doesn't really matter, but that's a good thing to use, and I right click, a little menu pops up. Okay. One of those says rename. You see that at the bottom down there? Okay. I'm going to click that. Left click. So it looks like it's renaming the first picture, doesn't it? You see the first one has got the text is changing. So 2017 0509. Let's see. Seminar pictures. So I've renamed that first picture, but they are all selected, right? Watch what happens when I press enter. You see what they say? They all say the same thing, except they have a number at the end.
When you clicked on that name, what did you press?
Enter.
Enter?
Let's do it again. So if this was 900 pictures from today, wouldn't make any difference, would it? Make no difference at all. If I click the first one, and I shift click the last one, and then I right click on that first one and say rename. And then I give it a name, like, I don't know, 2017 This was 2014, if I'm not mistaken. This was 2014 New Mexico. So you see what I did? I just said 2014 New Mexico, and now I'm going to press enter. 900 pictures just got renamed from 1 to 900, just like that. Now, did I need to do that? One person brought up in this class, well, I don't care what they say. I put them in the folder, and it's got the name on the folder. So when I go to pictures, it says right there, 2017 0509 seminar. I know what's in that folder. It doesn't really matter what they're named. What if you emailed it to somebody? Wouldn't it be nice to have the date on there? How hard is it? It's not hard. Also, this will help you organize for the rest of time. Anytime you ever pick these pictures up and move them somewhere else, they already have the exact date and time in them, or date and year in them. Does that make sense? So let's do it one last time. Click, shift click, and you right click the first one and you say rename. And then you put the year in there, and then what it is, 2014 New Mexico. Maybe it's Monday. So now all of those pictures say 2014 New Mexico Monday, and then they have a number on them. So just like that, if you emailed one of these to somebody, you know which one you sent. You know what it was from. Does that make sense? Okay.
Now, how are you making it go back to what it was originally?
That's a really good. She's asking this. I keep doing this. I hit a key, and they go back to what their old names were. It's Control Z.
Oh.
So if you were typing in Word and you made a mistake, you could do a Control Z. It's the same thing here. If I made a mistake, oops, I named them New Mexico, and they were Alaska. Oops. Well, you can either rename them again or just hit Control Z, and it'll undo your last thing. Okay. Yeah. I gotta be careful. You're watching. I gotta be careful. So I want to show you something else. So we're gonna do it one last time because I guess I'm beating this into you guys, right? Shift click the last one, right click the first one. We're gonna say rename. New Mexico Monday. Boom. That's fabulous, right? Okay. But this one is at a restaurant. See that? And this one is at a restaurant. Okay? All right. If I was just in my pictures folder and I had hundreds and hundreds of pictures in different folders and I was just looking for New Mexico, how would I find those? This is the same in Windows 7, 8, 10, same thing. Do you see this little bar over here? You see that? It's on every computer has that little bar. You see it over there? Okay, it's as you open pictures. So if I go to pictures, however you get there, get to your pictures folder. You see up here, there's this little bar over here.
Right.
All right. If I just start typing part of the word, there they are. Just like that. So if you name them in the way I'm telling you to name them, it will help you for the rest of your life. Because if you're looking for those Alaska pictures, if you click up there and just ALAS, there they are. Just like that. Okay? What if you were looking for the restaurant in New Mexico? Okay? See this picture right here? And this picture right here? What if I told you you could embed words into them? And they'd be there forever. You'd never see them, but they're in there. So if you right click on this picture right here and you go to properties, there's a thingy that says details. Okay? Well, there's little things that you can type things in. Like if I put a tag in there or a comment in there, you can put things into those. And then you can find them. So if you went into that picture and you inserted the word restaurant into the tags, and then you clicked up here and you were looking for restaurant, that'd be one of the pictures that came up, even though it's not in the name. Does that make sense? Okay. That's a kind of an advanced technique, but you know, if you were doing a bunch of pictures of your family and you happened to see one of your uncle who was really cool and you wanted to put it in there, you could just embed that little piece of text in there. And you could always find him using that little search thing up there. This works for Word documents. This works for anything. So if I went to, I focus on pictures because it's easy to see up here on the screen. But if I just went to my documents, and man, I have no idea what's in here, right? But if I was just looking for something that was a Word document, I could just do, you see what I just did? Does everybody know that a Word document is like seminar.doc.doc? Are you familiar with that? Okay, no? Okay, all right. If you were looking for a Word document, you could put DOC up there and it will find it for you. If you were looking for an Excel spreadsheet, you could type in XLS up there and it will find anything that's got XLS in it. And you could just scroll down and find it. See how fast that was? A lot faster than me going around trying to find it, right? Okay. If I was looking for anything with the word new in it, see that? Word documents, anything comes up. Does that make sense? That search is really powerful. What's that?
Does that work on
On LibreOffice? Absolutely, because we're actually, Tom, that's a good question. Does anybody use Microsoft Office in here? Okay, how about LibreOffice? It's a free office. Okay, whatever you type your letters in. Okay, if you type something, when you save that, you're saving it to your My Documents folder somewhere. Okay, we're not using Microsoft Office or LibreOffice right now, Tom. So if you were looking for something that about your fishing trip and you typed in fishing up here, I don't fish. I fish at Cub Foods, so. So if I typed in the word fish up there, anything that has the word fish in it comes up in the list. So whether it was a picture, whether it was a document or whatever. Does that make sense? That search is really powerful for managing your files. What's that? Yep, same thing. OpenOffice, because we're not using OpenOffice, LibreOffice, or Word. We're using the Explorer thing. Same thing on a Mac if you're using the Finder, whether you use Microsoft Office or what's that other office on the Macs? Claris Office? Pages, yeah. Wherever when you type something on a Mac, it's the same thing. It saves it in a folder. And when you open up the Finder in Mac, up top there's a little searchy thing where you can just do a quick search for it. Okay? All right. Does anybody have any questions? This was a lot of stuff. Anybody have any questions so far? Yes, Thelma.
I didn't quite get that. Where you went into properties,
Mm-hmm.
if you have, will that work for any pictures?
Any pictures?
But you have to,
Well, you asked for it. Is anybody else going to be, All right. I wanted to go through one more thing, and then we'll go through how to embed, okay? See, this is really nice right here, because you can kind of see a little postage stamp with a picture. Boy, well, you got 4 million of them, though. That's rough, right? Okay. So you can right-click in the white, and your happy menu comes up, and one of them is View. Okay? Well, it's on large icons. I could say extra large. Yeah, that's nice, except you can only see a couple of them. Well, I can do the same thing up here. If you don't have the ribbon, you need to right-click in the white. That's the easiest thing I can teach you, because it'll always work. If I right-click in the white, and I go to View, I would pick Details. I picked Details for a reason. Okay? Then I can see the exact name of my picture, and I can see more things. Like, you see these little column headers up here? Now this works for any folder, but we're going to use it on this picture folder because I want to add something. And if I right-click anywhere up here, you see how a little menu comes up? I want to know what date it was taken. Do you see there's no checkbox by that? See that? embedded in your picture is a whole bunch of other information besides just the picture. The date it was taken, the kind of camera it used, the f-stop, all these weird things are in there. Okay? You can see that in the details view. So I just told it add the date taken up here. These were all taken on September 22nd, 2014. I didn't remember that, but it's inside the picture. Does that make sense? So I can right click up here and I can turn that off if I don't want it. Does that make sense? Okay. That's another handy trick for using pictures. Go to the details view and you can add little thingies up top to see more. Some of the other things that might be handy, well, I like the date taken. I also like the dimensions. Have you ever taken pictures with different cameras? Or how about when you take them with your phone and then you turn it sideways? Well, those pictures have a different resolution than the ones that are up and down. So they stand out like a sore thumb. So when you see all of these are 3600 by 2700, the other ones, the little number would be first. Does that make sense? So it's just another little trick for managing your pictures. Easy, finding them easy. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some comments to a picture. So if I looked for a picture on my computer right now that said restaurant, okay? Probably not going to find it. We didn't put restaurant in the name, did we? We put 2014 New Mexico Monday. That's what's in the name of the picture, right? So if I go searching for restaurant in my pictures folder, didn't find anything, did it? If I went looking for Uncle Joe, not going to be there. But if I went for New Mexico, then they come up. See how that works? That's a really slick trick. If you learn nothing else in this class, that renaming those pictures in one swoop and then searching for them, boy, that's worth the hour of listening, painful listening to me. So this one right here, though, that's a restaurant picture. This one also. Somebody tell me how to select them both. Click one, control click the other. You could in this case do shift click because they're next to each other. Okay, but if I wanted this one and this one, I have to use control click. So I'm going to click this picture. I'm going to control click this picture. Okay, and then I'm going to right click on either one of them and go to properties. You guys see properties? Okay, you go up to the details tab. You can then put in comments. You can put in tags. You can do different things with them. So we'll go to this guy and we're going to put in restaurant. And we'll put in Uncle Joe into the other one. How's that sound? Well, I'm not really sure what I did wrong here. Give me a second. I'm sorry, we're experiencing completely technical difficulties apparently here. So hang on. Yeah, I'm having a little trouble with my computer. I apologize for that. I should be able to just click right here and then you just type it in, and you'll have to give me a second to figure out why it's not working. It's not supposed to happen to me. Oh, I think it's because I'm searching for them. Okay. So if I went into here, see, I can go to view and I can say large icons. See how it kind of changes as you bump around? So if I went to large icons, do you remember that you can also right click in the white and go to view, and then you can change it to details? I can right click in the white, go to view, and change it to large icons. Okay, everybody got that? So I want to take this picture and control click this picture. I'm going to right click on them and go to properties, and I'm going to go to details, and then yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. So you can put in all kinds of different things in here. I use the tags and I use the comments. So let's put something in comments here. I'm going to say comments for fun. Really doesn't apply to what we're doing though, does it? And then I said okay. Did that do anything? Didn't change the name. Picture still works. It still works. Well, but if I went to my pictures folder and I wanted to look for something I'm looking for the word comments. Do you see that 2 pictures came up? Somebody tell me how to change the view on these pictures. I can go to view, up top. I can say large icons. Or I could have right-clicked in the white and said view large icons. Either way. Do you see that my search looking for comments brought back those 2 pictures? Okay. It didn't rename them. It just invisibly put that in there. The reason that's important is if you ever take these pictures and I brought them to another computer, those comments are in there. They're in there. So if I brought all my pictures of Belize and in there I'd put in comments in the one that we went to a really cool cave. It was really scary. It was awesome. And Jolie tried to leave me there, but it didn't work. So I made it back. But if I had done this on those pictures, if I just clicked on them and said cave, I don't need to rename them. They don't need to be different than all the others. But inside those pictures is searchable text that on your Mac you could find. If you emailed them to other people, they can use them. Does that make sense? Okay. So if I go in here and I pick those same 2 pictures, click, and what else? Control click. Then I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to properties. Well, I put some goofy text in there. I said comments for fun. Let's change that to restaurant. Okay? I'm going to say okay. Then I'm going to pick this one. And my Uncle Joe, he doesn't actually exist, but if he did exist, then he was in this picture. If I clicked that and I said right click, properties, details, and then under comments I put Uncle Joe. And I said okay. Doesn't look like anything happened, does it? Okay. But if I was in pictures and I didn't remember where Uncle Joe was, or if he was in 50 different folders, it'd be hard to find him in all them folders, wouldn't it? But if I had 50 pictures of Uncle Joe and each one of them had that little texty in them, if I just type in Joe, there it is. I don't even have to know where it is on my computer. It found it.
How about multiple comments, like Uncle Joe and baseball?
The question was, how about multiple comments, like Uncle Joe and baseball? Okay, so I think this was Uncle Joe down here. Yeah, if you click on it in the large icon view, I've seen some where these little texties over here, they're on the bottom. I don't know why that is, but on this computer they're on the right side. So if you look, it's got the date, it's got the dimensions, some other things, and then it's got the comment in there. So you can see this was Uncle Joe. That's kind of nice for when you're flipping through your pictures. Oh yeah, that was Uncle Joe. But the question was, how can I put in multiple things? Well, you can put them in as tags if you want to and separate them by a comment, Deb. Or you could just go to your comments, Uncle Joe at baseball game. You probably couldn't see what I typed back there, could you? You see it okay? There's the comments right there. So this one doesn't have any. It says add comments. This one says Uncle Joe at a baseball game. Okay. So if I happen to just be looking in my pictures, I don't remember, but I know Uncle Joe and I were at a baseball game once. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. And I think you might have been looking for how do you maybe zero the search in, like if it's Uncle Joe and baseball. Is that what you're asking?
Actually, you answered the question. It's just like, so I want to look for all baseball pictures. I want to look for Uncle Joe's pictures.
Just like that. So you can use the same techniques we've been going over and over. I know you're sick of hearing from me, but if you click the first picture and you shift click the last picture, and then you right click the first one and you rename it, put in a name that makes sense. I recommend you start with the date, what it is, and like ours is 2014 New Mexico Monday. All the pictures for Tuesday will be in their own folder. Does that make sense? That's how I do it. You don't have to do it that way. It's just for me, it's easier to organize that way. Okay? And it's all about me. So there it is. But if I made this one and I put a comment in there of Uncle Joe, I haven't tried this step. There she is trying to make me look bad. Actually, I do that pretty good on my own usually. So, you know, if I looked for baseball, only the one would come up. If I looked for Joe, Uncle Joe, see how that came up? They both came up because they say Uncle Joe in them. Okay? I think you can use like Uncle plus Joe, something like that, to specifically demand both words, but that's getting pretty advanced. But the thing I wanted you guys to understand was you can very easily create a folder in your pictures. You can take the pictures off of your chip, throw them in that folder, and then they are securely saved on your computer. Because everybody here backs up their computer, right? Just nod your head. Just say yes or I'll be ragging. Everybody does. Okay, good. The thing is, this computer of mine is backed up. So if my camera got smashed, my phone got broken, somehow Apple couldn't get me my pictures, what do? I don't care. They're on here. And you guys seen those little external hard drives? Doesn't everybody carry around one with them? I mean, you guys seen these? Okay, you can get these for nothing. I mean, you're $50 now. You get one of these, plug it in, and you set up a backup. The whole computer backs up to this thing many, many times. So if I deleted a picture by mistake, I got it on here. And this can go in my fireproof safe. But that's a whole nother class. So what do you say we do this all from the top? How's that sound? Anybody bored enough to leave, or you want to do it one last time to lock it in? One last time? Okay. All right, give me just a second to prepare here.
You can search tags within the research comments.
Absolutely. Tags and comments. And there's title you can put in there also. I just tend to use the comments because I just like to pick one way to do it. Okay. So just for review, I'm going to click the top file. I'm going to shift click the bottom file. Then I'm going to rename them. To some goofy camera looking thing. Okay. So now I'm going to take my little chip reader, plug my chip into it. I'm going to plug it into my computer. That's where we're starting. We got the files on a chip that we want to get into the computer and work on them. Does that make sense? That's where we're sitting. So to do that, you would want to start by going to your pictures, and I want to make a new folder. I've showed you two ways to do that today. The first way is if you right click in the white, you go down to new and you say folder. Okay? So I'm going to say 2014-09-22 because I remember that's the date. Those pictures were taken September 22nd of 2014. So that's what I do. The second way I taught you how to do it was I went up top and if you see the ribbon, there's a button up there that says new folder. So anybody with Windows 8, 8.1 or 10 is going to see this. So it's probably easier just to click that button. 2014-09-22, I'll say New Mexico. Monday. So the first thing you do is you create a folder to put the pictures in. Okay, does that make sense? Then you go to your chip, which in my case is right here. And then I'm going to click the first one, and I'm going to do what to the last one? Excellent. Shift click. Yep. So now I've selected all those pictures. Now I want to move them. I do not want to copy them. The easiest way is to go up top and hit that Move To button. Does everybody see that? Okay, Move To. And then one of my options is choose location. I'm going to choose the location. I've got a pictures folder. And if you hit that little arrow right next to it, you see how it opens up? Then I'm going to pick this New Mexico Monday folder. Does everybody see that? And then I'm going to say move. And then those pictures are now gone from my chip. It'll take a little longer from your chip, depending on how fast your chip and computer are. You know, you might see it the little screen might be coming up, and it may take a minute or two to copy them all off there. Especially if you got 100 of them, it may take a little bit, okay? So now if we go to pictures, there's going to be a folder there that says 2014-09-22 New Mexico Monday. You see that? But when I open that folder, all the pictures still have some goofy name on them from the camera, right? So if I wanted to, I could do Control A. That selects all. That works anywhere. Control A selects everything. Or I could click the first one and Shift click the last one. Okay? Everybody catch that? And I'm going to right click the first one and say rename. 2014-09-22 Mexico Monday. See, I got the name typed in there. I'm going to press enter. There. They're now done. Okay? And then we're going to do what we did before. We're going to click this picture, and we're going to control click this picture, and then what we're going to do is we're going to right click, we're going to go to properties, and then details, and then we're going to put a tag in there, or a comment in there of it was actually a restaurant on top of Sandia Peak Mountain. It was pretty cool. So if I say OK, it doesn't look like anything happened, but I can now search for any pictures that have any of those words in there. If I'm looking for the peak, those two pictures come up. If I'm looking for restaurant, those come up. If I'm looking for, what else did I say, Sandia, those come up. And those go with those pictures wherever you have them. So 10 years from now, those pictures are going to be named correct. They will also have little tags inside them in the comments that you can find whatever you're looking for. Uncle Joe will always be found for the rest of time now. And honestly, that last little part didn't take me very long, did it? So we went through it a little over an hour screwing around with this. But if that was 900 pictures, it didn't take any longer to rename them. You select them all, you right-click the first one, you say rename, and they all happen just like that. So if you can learn that technique and use it, it'll really help you. Plus this little searchy thing over here is awesome. Okay? Wow, that was a lot. Not a single person fell asleep. I am not working hard enough at this. You guys came here for a nap, I know it. All right, there's one other thing I wanted to tell you about. It's very kind of advanced. Once you get these things all renamed, you can click on this one right here, and you can rename just that one if you want. Like maybe you want it to say early Monday. I don't know why you would want to do this, but there. Now I have one picture in this folder with a slightly different name. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter. I just said it's early Monday. Might be just as easy to click on the picture and put a comment in there, which the way my computer is set up right now, I could also just come over here and click on comments right here. And I could say, longest tram in the world. Now that's what they said. They could tell me anything, right? You know. So then, if I was ever looking for that tram, I could just type in tram. Oh, there's that tram. Does that make sense? Yeah. There are some more advanced renaming things. You can do many things with Windows itself, but there's a program called Ant Renamer. You don't have to write it down. It's in the PowerPoint. But if you want to write down something, if you go to www.emily.net, and then under our information and our internet is the seminar information. So there you'll be able to, it'll probably be a couple of days before I get it out there, but the presentation that you've seen up here and the video of this class, assuming it works, will be out there. So you'll be able to watch this whole presentation up here. It's not perfect because, you know, when I'm walking around the room, it doesn't pick me up very well or anything, but at least it's something if you wanted to watch it again or download this PowerPoint, okay? In the PowerPoint, it has the information of where to get Ant Renamer. If you want to get crazy renaming files, like adding 2 little characters in the middle of all the names, that is your program. It is fantastic. It's only really if you're kind of getting advanced into this, start with this stuff, but don't forget I told you about that, because it's a very powerful little program, and it's free. So if you went to our website, you went to our menu, and this is what it looks like on a tablet. If you go down to the information, internet here, you see we've got the seminar stuff here. Can everybody read that? So that'll be there here from the May seminar. It'll be a couple of days, but the PowerPoint and the video from the class will be available there, okay, at emily.net. All right, nobody's snoring. There's food next door. It's probably time to cut this off. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
I have like 1,000 folders because every time I saved a picture, it came up with those little numbers.
Yep.
And so I can't get all my granddaughter in one. Now do I have to rename these? And if I move them, would they? See, because a couple of times I tried to add something else and it said it would replace what was in there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. So.
You should probably come see me with that. How to figure out what they are?
Yeah, because they're all helter-skelter. They're not,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
set like this.
Let me show you something. This might help everybody. So if you want to leave, go ahead. You're free to go. But this might help you guys. Okay. It's a trick I use. Okay. I don't pull a little rabbit out or nothing, but it's not as cool as all that. All right. What if you could have, it'll look a little funny because this screen is really short, but you guys probably have a pretty wide monitor. You know, fairly wide. Yeah, this is like a ancient, you know, like this big. It's nothing. So it won't be as cool as it will be for you guys, okay? And you may need to come up here to see the key combination, but I'm going to walk you through what I do, and then I'll show you what it is. If you watch the screen up there, I'm going to open up this is called Explorer, your file manager. I'm going to make the file manager go on half of the screen, and then I'm going to open another one and make it go on the other half of the screen. So what that means is if I was looking in a folder over here, and I wanted to be looking in a different folder over here, I can do that side by side. So maybe I'm not understanding your problem, but if you could look at pictures in one folder and look at them in another, are you looking to see if they are the same picture so that you can delete some of them, or what are you looking to do?
No, I'm looking to try to get my granddaughter out of 50 folders and into one.
So you would want to put up like this and then see all the pictures of your granddaughter. Is that what you would want to do? Okay.
But they're not all in the same folder.
That's okay. We'd have to this is really, anybody wants to leave, you can, but this is going to help you guys. Okay, I get it now. Just got to keep knocking on the door and eventually it opens, right? What's the first step when you're screwing around with any of this? Make the folder you want to put stuff in. Start there. Okay? So I'm going to go to pictures. You see I'm in my pictures on the left. I'm going to go up top and say new folder. And I'm going to say granddaughter. Oops, or granddaughter. Okay? All right. So I've made the folder where I want them to go, right? So I'm going to go into this first of many folders. And maybe you can't see the pictures. You know, maybe it looks like this. They're not big enough. Or maybe it looks like this. And it's a list. You see that? Okay. All you have to do is either go up top to View and pick Large Icons. That's usually the best. Okay. Or you could right-click. In the white down here, you can right-click and say View, Large Icons. There's two ways to do it. Okay. So now let's say this picture and this picture were the granddaughter. Okay. How do I select those two pictures? Nope. You control click. Okay. Click the first one, control click the second one. Okay. And then if you want, up top there's a Move To button most of the time. If you're running Windows 7, you won't see that. Okay. So if you don't know what you're looking at, if you don't see a move to button up top, move to is easy. We say move to, choose location, and then we go down and we pick the granddaughter folder. You see that? We say okay or move, they're gone. And they're in the granddaughter folder. Now you wash, rinse, and repeat. You go to your pictures folder, you go to the next folder, you find anything that looks like a granddaughter, you click on it, you control click the next one, and then you click move. Okay? If you do not see move, once you have them selected, if you right click on either one of them and you say cut, okay? Now it's getting them ready to be cut and moved out of there. And then if I went back to pictures and I went into my granddaughter folder, and if I right click in the white and I say paste.
Couldn't you use copy and paste?
If you did copy and paste, it would leave them in the original folder. You may wish to do that. I suspect you're looking at not making multiple copies. You want to cut these out, put them in there.
Oh, this is such a
Could you do
mess.
that side-by-side screen and just drag them across?
You sure can. You sure can. That's a very good point when you get good at
That's
this.
what I've tried doing, but my page, I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
pictures. And I'll click on it and try to move it.
And mouse moves around. Yep.
Oh,
This,
drives you
you
nuts.
start with this one. That's a good point, but
How do you do those side-by-side screens?
okay. Side-by-side screens look kind of wonky up here, okay? I use it a lot when I'm typing in a Word document and then I want an internet browser open, okay? I use that all the time because then I got Word and stuff up. So let's do that. So if I open up the internet, okay, so there's WordPad or Word, and you know it's full screen. Okay, you know how to do that? This little button up here makes it full screen.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what I want, and I don't want to have to click and try to drag it. You know, that's just tough. You see that? All right. If you take it right up here in the middle and you click and hold on that, you see what I'm doing? And you drag it over to the side and you let go, it will snap it in there half screen. Does that make sense? So let me go find another one. Let's take this this screen right here and we'll do the same thing. If I click and hold in the middle and I drag it over here and I let go, side by side. Does that make sense?
The windows?
Yep. Left and right. Debbie has, if you're better with a keyboard, I'm typically faster with a keyboard. You know there's a little Windows key on your keyboard? It looks like a little flag. It's kind of like to the left of the space bar. If I had this window open and I wanted it to be half on the left, if you hold Windows and then press the left arrow, it'll shoot it over to the left. Same with this one. So if I wanted this Word window on the right, if I hold the Windows key and press the right arrow, see how it just snapped it over and gives you that half screen? And that's where that might help you for picking and dragging and dropping. That might be very helpful for you. Okay? I got one other trick too. So, go ahead. What's the for?
Well, I put those pictures on my computer with my little chip from my little ancient camera, my EasyShare, and I tried to put it in the folder and I didn't know what I was doing and it didn't go in the folder, so I took it out. Then I put it back in again and I tried something else, and then the pictures were kind of all over the place. So then I took it out and I thought I'll take them to Walmart and print them off. Got to Walmart and they weren't on the chip.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and I thought I lost my pictures from that trip. Then I went back home, and my husband said, no, they're still on there. So I put them in the computer, but I didn't put them in the folder, thank God. So is there a way to get them back on the chip? Because I have one of those little frames I could put the chip in.
Yeah, it's exactly backwards of what we just did.
Oh.
Put your chip in, you know, plug it into the computer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my other chip actually just plugs into the side, you know, like that. So I don't need one of these normally, but for this one I got to have this. You plug that in and then it comes up and it'll be like the G drive or the F drive. It'll have some letter on it.
Yeah.
If you go into your pictures folder and take the ones you want, this one, this one, this one, I'm doing that with control click, and then you say copy to. You do not move them.
Copy to.
Yeah, because typically you want them to stay on your computer. And then you would say copy to choose location, and then put it on the G drive or the F, whatever letter it end up being. Okay. So now I'm going to show you something else. For those of you that have 4 billion pictures, this may help you and this may not. You may not remember this, but you could always call me, and then if I remember what I said, I might be able to pull it back up. This is not the right way to look at them for what I'm talking about. We need to be looking in the details. Okay? What if I said right-click, view, details? You see you got more information here? You see I can see the file names. See all that? Uh-oh. Class is almost over, everybody. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to turn this off here too. So if I said up here, I'm in my pictures folder, and I want to view details. Or I could right click and I could say view details. But I got to be in details view for this, okay? If I went up here and I said splat.jpg, asterisk.jpg, okay? All 4 million pictures are going to come up, okay? So then, details. You remember I showed you this before. You can add things up here. I can add the date taken up top. See that little checkbox? Now if I scroll over, the date taken is here. Any of these folders or headings that you click on, if I click on size, you see there's a triangle right there? That means it is sorting by the size. If I clicked on the date, it is sorting by the date. If I clicked on the date taken, it is sorting by the date taken. What that means is all of the pictures that were taken on Monday of last week will now be in a row. All of the pictures that were taken 5 years ago on the 3rd of May will be in a row. I could then click on the first one from May 3rd, 2012. I could then shift click on the last one. And I've now highlighted all the ones from that date, haven't I? Okay. Could I not move them to a new folder? Could I not rename them? Of course I could. But by using this technique, you can look at all the pictures on your hard drive, view them by the date they were taken, and it may help you figure out which ones are near each other.
What if you wanted to view them by the subject?
By the subject?
Yeah, I mean, mine are
Oh, you mean your emails?
15 different subjects
On the emails or on the pictures?
on the picture. I mean, I'm trying to organize them by subject.
Okay.
Because my husband downloaded probably 1,500 old slides,
Yeah.
and it's dogs, cameras, flowers, houses, lake.
If there isn't any information in the name of the file, or if there isn't any information that's useful like the date, like for me, if I had pictures and I knew I went on vacation in September of 2014, by using this technique, I don't even have to see what those pictures are to know they're my vacation pictures, do I? Does that make sense? So if I was looking for pictures that I did something with, I could find them. But what you're looking at is very likely you're going to need to see them all, click the ones you want, right click and cut them, and then paste them into a new folder. You really...
See, I have a bunch done like hers.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of folders.
Yeah.
I just created those folders, and then I split the screen and dragged and dropped
Yep.
them into those folders.
That's the-
I
That's the... There's no easy way. It's the same thing with music.
there's a lot, because then
How many people got like 400 copies of the same song on their computer? I hear this a lot. You know, I got 5 different copies of this song. Why am I doing that? It's the same. There's no easy way, because it may be named one way and then one letter different. Well, it's 2 different files. There's no way to find a duplicate because they're not a duplicate. There's no easy way to do what you're asking. But this technique here may give you a clue. Maybe he scanned all of certain ones in a certain year.
No, they're all the same kind of pictures. The slides themselves are probably over 40 years.
Right. In your case, you would need to get them into a folder and then rename them to what that is. Yes. Let's cook.
Another question back to my granddaughter. Now, if I get all these pictures loaded, now let's say I've got